This is Majinoni, and here's another edition of History of Marvel. This is going back to the X-Men. This is X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 101 through 110. Now, this is basically the start of total greatness for the X-Men. I guess you can say, in a sense, this is the golden years of the X-Men right here, starting from this point on. The last volume was the prelude to it, and this is it. This is the show. Now, this was written by Chris Claremont, still illustrated by Dave Cockrum, but at the end, which was, I think it was X-Men 108, John Byrne picks up. And Byrne and Claremont's run on the X-Men were basically, I guess you could say it was like a love-hate relationship. Many people loved it, but Byrne had his haters, and he still has his haters today. But the style of his artwork really pushed things into a new direction, and it really, like I said, set the stage for what truly made the X-Men the #1 book of its time. Now, as you can see on the back side here, here's the basic covers for it. Just a quick high-level overview here. You have the key thing that we're looking at here is you have the birth of the Phoenix, you have Magneto, you have the Shi'ar Empire, and you have Alpha Flight, or weapon Vindicator from Alpha Flight. So let's take a look at what we get with this this volume of this trait here. Now, with this issue here, like I said, it starts off right with the bang, where you have the birth of Phoenix, and everybody knows Phoenix's like the long tragic history, more recent history where she dies, comes back, dies again type thing. The love affair with Scott Summers, and then Emma Frost comes in, and this basically started it all. Now, you also get the origin of Storm, where they talk about her being a child and, like how, she's claustrophobic. Or she can't, not claustrophobic, she can't, I guess you'd say can't be in a tight, confined place, and they explain all of that. You get a nice little beginning, with the fight with the Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy, and then that, of course, is connected with Banshee, because I believe those two guys were cousins. So, that part was like a really good start to it. And, since everybody was kind of familiar with some of, like, the Juggernaut, you can kind of get an idea of the power level of the team. Now, I think, if you notice, the art here is, I don't want to say it's getting better compared to the last time, but it's, you'll start seeing improvements along the way. 104 was also another classic episode because this is basically, the test of the X-Men. It's like if the team can't beat Magneto, then, what do they do in the comic? And Magneto started the X-Men off, and this is like a true test for the new team and how they're going to react. Personally, I always thought it was kind of stupid in the sense of he's the master of magnetism, so let's have him fight a guy who's made of steel and a guy with claws and metal for bones. They're both living missiles. He can pick Colossus up, slam them into somebody at an insane rate of speed. They would die from crushing damage. Magneto can just basically turn Colossus and Wolverine into gigantic human balls and then bounce them around like basketballs. Think about what he can do with Wolverine. Pull those claws out, fly them around like a spear, and skewer Cyclops. It's like, it was kind of ridiculous. That, some of that kind of happened to a certain degree, but it didn't happen nearly enough. So, you do get that classic battle, you get Eric the Red involved, and eventually Firelord comes in looking for Phoenix, and this basically, they start throwing the storyline down for Ilandra, and which is right here, or Lilandra, sorry. And this is the beginning of the Shi'ar Empire, the love affair between Professor X and Lilandra. And so there's like a lot of really important plot points that were coming down. Now, I remember when I started going through comics and stuff like that, one of the comics that really stood out for me was this next issue coming up here, which was 107. Because what we have here is you have the X-Men fighting the Imperial Guard. And this is where, if you notice, the art for Dave Cockrum changed a lot. Like, just in a matter of a few issues, it went from, basically acceptable to like, oh, for its time, wow, that's actually kind of good. And the battle here was, it's a classic, spectacular battle. I mean, I remember seeing this splash page here and just going, holy crap, this is going to be an awesome, awesome book. Because you have the X-Men versus this big army of superheroes that you've never seen before. And they looked awesome. They just looked amazing to me. Like every battle was like, I wonder what this guy can do, I wonder what that guy can do type of thing. So this really was like one of my favorite reads. I had no idea who she was. I was just going, oh wow, look at that tentacle thing coming out of her mouth, and aliens everywhere. And I was just like, I don't know who all these people are, but this is just fantastic. I want more. Now, you also have the introduction to Starjammers, which I'm sure everybody should know by now how they're important, because this is Cyclops' father. And they pretty much lay that out kind of early. So at least it looks like there was some kind of plan for that. Now, while all of this was going on, and while this was all entertaining, the key, like I said, the very next issue is where everything changed, and with 108, where now you have Chris Claremont and John Byrne. Now, unfortunately, by today's standards, John Byrne's art style, it's very stylized. You can easily tell him apart compared to other people, but I don't think he holds the magic that he used to hold. Part of me thinks that what made John Byrne like a truly awesome penciler for his time was Terry Austin's inks. It's like the combination of Claremont, Byrne, and Austin, it was like an unbeatable combination that just paved the way for gold. You would not have X-Men movies, you would not have video games, you would not have the action figures, cartoons, no Wolverine, no Dakin, X-23, none of that would have happened without those three guys. I can guarantee you that the X-Men would probably be a second or third rate title still if it wasn't for those guys. And as you can see right now, the popularity of the X-Men is kind of dropping a little bit, because when you look at the top 10 charts, it's no longer number one. But when those three guys were on there, it was X-Men, 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 with the Teen Titans thrown in there too. This was like the go-to book for Marvel. And the art was just, like I said, leaps and bounds. Like, compare that art here to like that art. You know what I mean? And you can't compare it. While Dave Cockrum was a very talented and creative person, when you look at that and compare it to this or that, couldn't compete. That's how good these guys were. And this was like an amazing storyline. It was just, like I said, fantastic. Now, when they come back from space, you're going, what else could happen? You have now Vindicator, or Weapon Alpha, going after Wolverine. So now you get a little bit more of Wolverine's background. And in a way, I think when these guys came on, and once they landed back on Earth, now they're acted more as a team. Now, granted, they still had their drama and things like that, but it's kind of like you forget that they've just formed in just several issues, and they've actually they've gone through a lot. So that part was really good. Now, Cyclops' glasses were kind of dorky looking though. That's the one thing I didn't like about that part. So, like I said, you got the Weapon Alpha, and then from here, like I said, then you're starting to build up the next stage, which was basically going to be Magneto and the Savage Land. So I'll review that, one later. But like I said, I'll word it this way: you are not an X-Men fan if you do not read these trades. These trades are essential to read, and they lay down basically the groundwork for everything that you've read today. Emma Frost is because of Byrne and Austin and Claremont. Sebastian Shaw, like I said, it's all because of that. without those three guys, there would be no Deadpool, because these guys wouldn't have inspired like the later generations of artists and writers. So, like, basically, in terms of, modern styles, this is the book. This is the team. This is the creative team that basically, in my opinion, basically is the reason why we have what we have today. But anyways, like I said, another very important piece of history, Marvel history. So if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Let me know what you think, and I'll put more reviews and stuff like that up later. So until next time.